Right. Hi guys, welcome to the podcast Behaviourism. I'm Alex and this is
Nuffy.
And today we're going to be talking about addiction and habits a little bit more from last week, really.
Yeah, just like how they work and, how you can become addicted to something, not even realising it, because addiction isn't like something that just happens overnight.
Definitely.
It creeps up on you. And becoming a habit as well, because when an addiction becomes part of your, or a thing becomes part of your day-to-day, you don't start to realise that psychologically you are becoming attached to it, You're associating it with reward without actually, knowing it. So it's very easy to get addicted, but yeah, we'll get into that.
So I'd like to go back to the habit loop that was first sort of, my understanding was first coined, if you like, by Charles Duhigg, where you have your cue, your habit or action, and the reward, and how that is essentially how addiction builds, or habits build, and habits are essentially an addiction, but you'd usually hope a good habit would basically be a positive addiction, like being addicted to vegetables, something like that.
Yeah. Something that's like actually beneficial to your health, that you can, I don't know if there is such thing as, in my opinion, is like I don't know if there is such thing as a good addiction, because like I think you should be able to function without needing anything, as in you can't become addicted to vegetables, I don't think. Okay. And the reason I think that is because I think to become addicted to something, from what I've learned, is that there's got to be some sort of physiological reward that happens with that, like some kind of chemical in the brain that is released that gives you pleasure. And
the stronger it is, the stronger that reward is, the more addictive that substance is. So this is why people say sugar is addictive, because it gives you a nice big spike. Well, a little bit of serotonin usually comes with carbohydrate and blood sugar spike. So that's why kids think sweet's happy. Yeah,
and the thing is with like I looked at alcohol addiction, so I'm going to speak about that. Is that when you drink alcohol, there is dopamine released in the nucleus accumbens, which is where you learn a behaviour, right? So it's this part of your brain is connected to memory. So when you get a dopamine release in that part of your brain, you remember it as being, oh my god, that was amazing, and then you want to do it again.
And that's why we have dopamine in the first place, to go, hey, remember that awesome thing that happened when you did this thing?
Yeah.
So let's do that again.
Yeah. And I can see why people get addicted to exercise, because when you run and that feel like an amazing feeling afterwards, it's just like
massive endorphin rush after exercise.
You remember that, you're like, that's why I run. But yeah, with alcohol that happens, and if you're exposed to alcohol at a young age, that's very dangerous, because firstly you're developing, right? And
how young are you talking?
Like I'm talking about pre-adolescent.
Okay, like 10.
Yeah, and even in like your kind of teenage ages, like 13, 14.
Yeah, getting any form of substance, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Carry on.
It's dangerous, because it's like you remember that, like say for example, you see, I don't know, your mom having a glass of wine every night, and she just seems relaxed, right? And you're a kid that's like, okay, yeah, I look up to my mom. I want to be just as chill as she is. She seems nicer when she's drank a glass of wine. So you look at that and you take that as your kind of, because it's behaviourism, right? That's how you learn behaviour, is you see what's good and bad about it.
And our parents are our first models of humans to follow, and so they have a massive impact on how we behave in. Up until school, and then we start to look at our friends as well, but your parents are like the first major impact. Struggling to articulate that, but you get
it. I get you, because they're like the first models you come to face to face with, because these are the people that set the grounds of the moral grounds for you, right? This is right, this is wrong. You have no other kind of nothing else to tell you that what they're saying is wrong, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see that happening, and you're a kid, and you haven't been to school yet or whatever, you don't have teachers to tell you that your parents are wrong. You see that you drink some wine, and then you have that huge dopamine rush in your brain as a little kid, and then you remember that, like the next day, you're like, oh shit, that was amazing, man. I know what mum does every night, you know. And then you tell your friends at school, yo, guess what? Forget that chocolate bar, man. Let me get you some of my sippy, like some of my
wine,
nice
red wine.
Yeah, and you get your friends on it as well, and you know, it's dangerous, like, to expose kids to that, because addiction, when you drink something, it's shown that if you drink at a young age, like that young, you'll be addicted for the rest of your life.
Is there no way out of it?
There is, but
it's much more difficult than if it was developed as an adult.
Yeah.
For example.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you've got to, I imagine, for as well, that perhaps there would be a longer time between the habit forming and intervention.
Yeah.
Or any form of support and intervention to be put in place, because for one, it might not be identified. I mean, there's so many people in the school, so many kids. You don't know which ones are
exactly.
doing what,
You know, he looks a bit drunk, but what kid doesn't look drunk? You know, like what kid doesn't look like they're in
school and my eyes are half open, like
yeah. You know, like how do you know? But so that would have a huge impact on your life if you drank from a young age, and it'd be harder to get out of it, because now sugar releases a certain amount of dopamine, right? But alcohol releases a bit more. Is
it dopamine? Do all positive things like that all release a bit of dopamine?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the reward center of your brain, right? Which is the nucleus accumbens.
I'm curious as to, does serotonin, or there's another happy chemical, or it's actually more of a soothing chemical that makes you calmer. It's a bit like heroin, but not quite.
Oh yeah.
You know the one. Oxytocin.
So that's like your love.
Yeah, that's not, like, you can't get addicted to a hug, can you?
See,
is it just dopamine that causes addictions?
From what I've read, I don't know if it's just dopamine that causes addictions. But
to be the major driver.
It seems, because it's like it's a chemical associated with reward, and maybe when you hug somebody, oxytocin's released, right? But also dopamine is as well. So it's hard to kind of like say, you know, this one chemical causes it. But so with that, it's just like, it's harder to get out if you started from a young age, because like a normal kid would be addicted to sugar, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, because
after school, goes to the post office, buy some sweets.
Honestly, after school, that's it. Like it's 3 o'clock, and you just feel like you're eating sweets. Even now, when it hits 3, I'm like, I feel like something sweet, and it's like that habit that's just been, you know, written into my brain.
I could really go for massive cheesecake.
You'd be like, oh, do you know what? I'll bring you a big slice of chocolate cake.
I used to have this chocolate gâteau.
You used to love chocolate, man. Yeah, man. So normal kids would be addicted to sugar, right? Which, I mean, it's normal because everything's got sugar in it. Your mom gets annoyed at you, she'll give you a chocolate bar, you know, to calm you down.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I've seen it on the bus. I've seen it.
Yeah.
There's like a mom, they're on their phone, they're playing flipping Candy Crush, or texting someone, and the kid's like getting all uppity.
Yeah.
And what the kid wants actually is attention.
Yeah.
And you can tell that clearly. They just want some love and affection, and like, yo mum, interact with me. But the mum's like, shut up.
Yeah, you're not important.
Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
So, and then I say like, do you want a biscuit?
Yeah.
Do you want a biscuit? It will shut you up for about 30 seconds.
Exactly, yeah. So, and you know what? It's crazy because apparently sugar addiction is okay for kids. Like, and I don't know if I agree with that.
No.
Because, and everything's marketed. Like, if you look at it in a shop, you have all the sweets at that kind of height, kid level, and you're like, what are they trying to say? Like, are they promoting that kind of behaviour that
They aren't not promoting it.
No, they're not, exactly.
But Dairy Milk aren't, or Cadbury aren't like sat around going, you know what we should do? We should stop kids eating so many chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Because that'd be a really good idea for us.
Exactly, yeah. No, because money, man. But I'd say that's also quite unhealthy, and I think I'm still addicted to sugar from a very young age. Like everything.
I try and like I don't have a sweet thing every day, which was something really difficult for me, just not have a sweet thing every day. Not counting tea, I put honey in. Okay, we'll ignore that for a minute. That's another addiction. But I siphoned down, you know, and that's something. I mean, talking about addiction, I'm on venlafaxine.
What's that?
It's an antidepressant. It's not an
what's it called? Serotonin
reuptake inhibitor. It's not an SRI or SSRI, I think they call it. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. It's an SNRI. It's a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor.
Yeah.
So that's actually more to do with dopamine, because norepinephrine is a precursor to dopamine.
Oh, right.
And actually, looking back, we might find that my work ethic might be down to my drugs.
Yeah, oh shit.
Because my work ethic definitely improved. I mean, part of it's mentality, but some of it's definitely improved around the time I was getting onto venlafaxine.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be because it's the right drug for me, or it might be. Sometimes I wonder if when I come off it, that'll still be there. So
like if your brain would still be able to produce those chemicals without making you focus, And
I've been on it since I was, this one particularly, since I was about 19.
Okay.
So that's probably three years, maybe a bit less.
Yeah.
So my brain is still finishing in its formation, if you like, at that point. My brain's still developing properly until 25.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I often talk to Mike because he's quite interested in biology. Yeah. And I say, I'm worried maybe if I don't come off this soon, will my brain be able to, adjust to the change?
Yeah.
And he's like, maybe the best time would be now to try and come off, but at the same time, it's got to be the right time.
Yeah.
The thing about this specific drug is I had a little browse online, which I didn't know before I started. About 6 months after I was on it, I'd look around and it's like, it's really, really difficult to come off because you basically are addicted to it.
Oh.
It's quite normal to get withdrawal symptoms from any drug.
That's true, yeah.
But the half-life of venlafaxine is like a day, so you start to notice very quickly.
Oh, crap.
Whereas something like sertraline, which I was on before that, it was a bit longer. Like I'm pretty sure it's something like a few days or maybe a week. Yeah. So I still usually noticed if I hadn't taken it on time or taken it that day. But it can be quite difficult if you cut cold turkey.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't recommend doing that.
So they
see, now that's making me question like my statement of, well, see, this is why I say I didn't know. I don't know if addiction is a good thing, or if it can be beneficial.
It could be beneficial to, for example, it's helped me remember to take my drugs because there have been days where I go, I don't feel very good. Why is that? And I start to think, I've done this, I've been eating, I've been drinking, I haven't had too many cups of tea because that makes me feel bad. It's like, I didn't take my drugs this morning.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember, but also it could be that I end up using it as a crutch. So, like, I'm just unhappy because I didn't take my drugs, instead of maybe facing a problem that actually is existing in my life.
Yeah. But then it's like, drugs is just a great way to, like, for you to get shit done, you know?
Stable.
It's to stay.
It's like, it's helpful.
Yeah.
It's a tool.
Yeah, right? And it makes you able to think, I guess, more rationally about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Because you're not too focused on, I'm really anxious right now, or you're not in survival mode constantly with your mental illnesses. And with coming off the drug, I don't know, man, I'd definitely speak to the doctor who gave you, because, like, the problem with me is, like, I used to think, with whatever I've done in the past is, oh yeah, I know what's best for me. I know what makes me feel good, and I know how much I can take because I know my body. And a lot of people feel like that. You know, people who do certain drugs, they think, okay, this is medicinal because this so and so took this and their anxiety is gone now.
And they're totally a doctor and know all about it. You've done the studies and read and done the research. Definitely. Yeah, when you're taking anything. Or if you are thinking like you're depressed or have anxiety, speak to a professional, man. Just get it done because you don't know shit. my biggest issue is that the GPs don't know shit.
Yeah, GPs don't even know shit, yeah.
GPs that have been prescribing me, like the
Really?
different medicines that I've tried.
Yeah.
So the first thing I was prescribed, serotonin, I was actually prescribed at CAMS. I was 18 at the time. I'd just turned 18.
Yeah.
And they prescribed me CAMS, and then they sort of sent me on my way because I was now an adult and they couldn't treat me. They couldn't justify it.
Yeah.
But I was actually doing very well on this new drug and and other things going on in my life.
Yeah.
So that, whatever, sent me on my way, I had my GP deal with me. And then they changed me over to this other one, metazapine, which I told you about earlier, which it basically puts you to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Forever. You don't, it's a half-life that you live on that, in my opinion. Maybe I didn't give it much time because I'm not patient.
Yeah.
The side effects were too harsh, couldn't do anything the next day, which was something I needed to do.
You could be productive, man. Yeah.
So after that was venlafaxine, and I started on that, and I'm great. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Looking further down the line, that's going to be very difficult to come off.
Yeah.
Whereas I'd argue sertraline, not so much.
Yeah. But see, whereas you've gone to the GP and you've gone the right direction, other people may have gone to, like, for example, I don't know, alcohol or weed.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know, they'd probably use those as tools to kind of be productive or get on with it every day because they feel like depression's stopping them from doing that or anxiety stopping them from doing that. And what actually tends to happen is you don't realise the side effects of these drugs. You don't understand them enough without actually going through them. And by the time you go through them, it's too late and you're addicted to something that you pretty much, I mean, if you'd gone to the right person, then you wouldn't have put yourself in that situation. So, I don't know, I think with GPs, even though at first you seem like they don't know shit, you know, they just give you drugs and then they just use you as a like guinea pig.
It feels like that at the time, but you're also usually, if you're seeking that kind of help, you're in a negative state of mind.
Yeah.
So, like, I have an argument for certain. When I see studies that are done and that are based on a person's personal opinion of something, how do you feel about this, the way people treat you, or how do you feel about your mental well-being, has it improved over X period of time? And I think that's the worst possible way to measure someone's mental well-being, because if they are in a negative state, they're going to say negative, but if they're a negative person, which is different to having bad mental health, they're a negative person, they'll like just go, no, I don't think my mental state has been improved, or you guys suck. And, you know, they might just be a negative Nelly.
Yeah, they might just have
and you can't. And I think there needs to be a real sort of, like the personality scale, the Big Five. That's a good scale for seeing how people are and how they map out. I think there needs to be a mental wellness scale like that.
How do you differentiate, like, being just a negative person and just being depressed? Like, what if that person's like, oh, I'm always negative, you know, and I can't seem to see the good in my day-to-day activities, and somebody turns around and says, I think you're depressed, you know? Would you think that would you think that happiness is something that's normal to attain?
I don't, and also, there's an argument I'd love to bring up. It's not about today's topic, but I don't believe that the purpose of a person's life is to be happy. Yeah. So I think that we should be having things that we're struggling with, and that we should be overcoming those things and moving on to the next thing that we struggle with, because that is literally what life is made up of. Little obstacles and bigger obstacles. You never have no problems. No one never has any problems. And if you think that that your goal in life is to have no problems,
Yeah.
you're always going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I think the
It's
goal
true,
should
yeah.
be, okay, what can I take on today?
Yeah.
What can I get done and take on and improve?
That's
Life
it.
isn't going to be perfect, but you can make it better than it is.
Yeah. And I think I agree. Like, you shouldn't aim for happiness. You should aim to kind of face what you've got in front of you in a way that you don't suffer. You know, you don't allow yourself to
Minimize the suffering.
Yeah, just minimize it. Don't. It's not saying you've got to be happy. Like, people on television shows, oh, everybody's smiling, and you know, everyone's in adverts as well.
and we know it to be true. You know, that's why things like Game of Thrones are so attractive to us, because it's like, this is actually more real than my own real life, because people are constantly dying and in pain and getting tortured, and all this horrible crap keeps happening, and yet they still carry on, and people still have hope, despite the fact that they know that death is coming for all of them. And that's almost metaphorical if you want to get into it. Like, death is coming for all of them.
Man. And I think that's that kind of way of thinking, that image of how we're supposed to be needs to be changed. You know, we can't just keep pushing that kind of, oh, look at my family, we're all happy, and if you're not like us, something wrong with you. Yeah. Oh man, I think I'm cynical like that, because every time I see like YouTubers, like vloggers on YouTube, and they're all just like, yeah, so guys, today we're gonna go shopping, and I'm like, shopping's not that fucking exciting. Dial it down, like a couple moments, you know.
But their livelihood is on them making their lives seem exciting and showing things that are exciting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can see why they do it, but I'd be just as cynical watching it and go, shopping. You're just going to show me all the money you got with that. But people respond.
You're just showing off, man.
People respond to it.
Yeah.
And if people respond to it, then you're going to do it more, because that's how it goes. So basically, the only way to stop it is to stop people from responding to it. How do you do that?
I don't know if that's. I think happiness sells. That's what I made.
Something on a societal level, as opposed to like an individual level. In a way. I mean, the individual can decide that they're not going to follow that. But that doesn't stop everyone else. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I mean, most people do want to see a happy family on TV. No one wants to see. I mean,
there is so. Look at it. If I look at it like this, The Walking Dead is dying out.
Right.
That's not supposed to be like a wordplay joke.
Yeah.
But it's dying because there's no happiness in it.
Right.
It is constant turmoil and nothing good happens.
Okay.
But we like watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And it is constant turmoil.
But like, you still see like the humour in it. Like, there's still like a couple jokes that Tyrion says. So
this is Daenerys Targaryen, the Unburnt.
Yeah.
Or like 50 other titles. This is Jon Snow. He's king of the North.
Oh, my family died. Everything shit. But then there's this hope, like you said, there's hope for them.
There is still hope. So the difference there is what? There's humour and hope.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you should deal with it when shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
Deal it with humour and hope.
Yeah.
Whereas everything's really serious in The Walking Dead, because it started out so good.
Yeah.
And it's too serious and too boring. Oh, first season's the best season, in my opinion.
I'll give it a go and see what.
Just watch the first and
stop.
Yeah. Season 2 is too long.
Oh man.
They don't get anywhere. It's annoying.
Hate that. But yeah, I think. Well, I mean. Yeah, it does serve a purpose, I guess. The whole kind of selling happiness on to people.
I suppose we should sell the hope instead of the happiness.
Well, yeah. It's like I hope to have that.
Better.
Yeah.
So that is the thing that we came back.
Maybe
we went to first was making an improvement on what's in front of you, facing that first hurdle.
Yeah.
So maybe if as a societal level, if it was hope that was being sold, or the hope of something better, as opposed to perfection, then maybe we'd have a bit of a.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's already that. Maybe it's the fact that if we keep marketing perfection, then it already kind of kills two birds with one. Well, not really, but it already kind of feeds into that hope idea. Like, maybe if I work harder, I'll get there. Maybe you won't, no matter how hard you work. But, you still work hard.
Yeah, I mean, you miss all the chances you don't take.
Yeah.
I believe in that 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't argue with me that that's incorrect.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's true.
Not everyone makes it.
Here's another thing, though, that completely off topic. We're supposed to be talking about addiction, but we're already going down the rabbit hole, so why stop now? So, like, we were doing this kind of subject in psychology about the dark history, right? And what they were teaching us this week was that psychologists back in the day, they were absolute cunts.
Oh yeah.
Do you know why?
It's amazing.
and they didn't mean to be. Like,
they didn't sit around going, how can I be more of a cunt today?
Yeah, they just kind of they wanted to understand human beings and nature. Like,
they were less what would you say?
They
weren't concerned with the opinions of others.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So they kind of just like... Because obviously, if to be a psychologist back then, you couldn't just be like any old person off the street. You had to be from a wealthy background to be able to afford the education. And so these people would come around, like Darwin's cousin, for example. He'd say stuff like, he's the one who like invented eugenics, right?
All right.
Yeah, so
See, I'm fascinated by eugenics, but whenever I start discussing it, everyone's like, you're Hitler.
Yeah, because it's got such a bad name now, right?
It's Hitler's fault, really, because he was trying to implement eugenics forcibly.
But they were, though. Not even Hitler was.
Not just, yeah.
Yeah,
they were like, well, why not make the perfect human?
Yeah, that's
Where's the bad in that?
Yeah, exactly, because they thought they'd do humanity the greater good.
They saw it as, they were thinking in a philosophical level, in the same manner as Plato and Aristotle and all the great Greek philosophers, that's it.
Yeah, they had good intentions. Like, you can't... But intentions don't mean shit, man.
It's like fuck you and your intentions.
Yeah. Like, they basically... They thought that if you were an idiot, imbecile, moron, those were medical terms.
Low IQ, it was like IQ below 70 or something.
Yeah.
Which in some countries in the world, that is the average IQ, which no one wants to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into that.
But this is the thing. How do you test intelligence?
Yeah,
that's another kind.
IQ is one form of intelligence.
Yeah.
It's like taking a test that's not full.
Yeah.
It's like a quarter of a test. So there's all sorts of intelligence that needs to be taken into account if we want to do a proper test.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with.
There should be a kind of spectrum of intelligence.
Well, just like the big five aspects. There's not a scale. Intelligence is not a one dimension.
No, it's multiple.
Emotional intelligence is very good, important as well. Like, I look at both my parents. Like, my mum is really, really good with people. She can figure out more or less how, in one way or another, she can stop you from being a pain in the neck. Really? Usually, she figures out how to do things, how to get people to do things, how to make them respond in certain ways. I'm like, Mum, you'd be an excellent marketer. Right, so she's got that intelligence, like really solid.
Yeah.
My dad is like, he's quite strategical. Like, that's it. Like, he's probably like IQ wise, he'd be relatively high, or at least above average. Mm-hmm. But they've both got different strengths. Yeah. Right. So
they're both as valuable as each other.
That's sort of where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, they have different strengths, but it doesn't mean that one is like lower. If you're on like levels, like one's level 19 and one's level 2.
Yeah.
No,
one's over 9,000.
It's over 9,000.
But this is the thing. Like, this is how they used to think. Is that IQ would definitely
be all end all.
Be all end all. Yeah. So with nowadays they say, to some extent, okay, fair enough. There is you do have.
So the argument they'll make. Sorry to interrupt, but there are people who are just born dumb.
Yeah.
They just aren't smart in anything.
Yeah.
Like, these people exist.
Yeah.
And they're more common than the person who's like super smart in one specific area, and that's going to become a real problem for us. And it is.
With that, it's like back then they used to think, if you're born dumb, you're going to stay dumb for the rest of your life. you can't improve upon that. You're just doomed, mate. Like, you're done.
Sorry.
So let's stop you guys from breeding because, like, you guys are useless to our society. And that's the thing, like, we know now that intelligence is changeable. We can improve it, you know.
How much?
I don't know, but I feel like...
Because...
Okay, let's do this, right? If let's take the arguments that a person down at the bottom who's very poor has got low IQ, born into a poor family.
Because there are studies that show, sorry to interrupt, I know you, that where like your wealth and such, what's it called? The wealth of your family, social status, social whatever, all that, if you know what it is, doesn't actually affect IQ.
But here's why. There are studies that actually prove that
it does.
Being poor, because they did studies like in, I don't know, and it was an Asian country where they grow like sugar canes,
Okay.
The sugar cane farmers, right? And what they found was when it wasn't sugar cane season and they couldn't sell their crops, they were poor, right? In those months, and so when they couldn't sell their crops, their IQ was lower.
Like the same people?
Yeah, the same people.
Okay.
And so when they could...
Because they're emotional.
Yeah.
They were driven more by emotion. People are dumber when they're driven by emotion.
Yeah, that's the kind of... Because you can't think rationally.
Yeah, you look at it in one level. How does this affect me and my feelings specifically?
And it's also like, they're not getting... If you're poorer, you're not getting as much food... Yeah. You're not getting, you know, and you're in that kind of survival mode, like, oh, what do I need to do now? Like, how am I supposed to make it together? You know, you're thinking about too many things to think logically, you know. You can't just do that. But when they had the food, they had the money, they were fine. Like, the IQ shot up. And this is the thing, like, these are the things that we have to kind of also quantify, like, where are you from? You know, and it's fucking... So it takes long to kind of, you know, get all these categories. Oh, how much food have you eaten? You know, how are you supposed to test that?
Are you new? Okay, so there's too many. You're saying there's
variables,
too many variables to properly test between, except for the fact. I mean, to properly test what influences intelligence.
So to say it's just like you can't just pin it down to genetics
or where you're from.
Yeah,
but. I would argue that genetics would play a large factor.
Yeah.
But as I think you're getting to, there are other factors that will always influence it.
Yeah, and also like from people from wealthy families, they can give birth to people that have Down syndrome, have other mental disabilities.
I think they're less likely to.
You think?
Just walking around cities in general, I see people. I can see like a whole family of some kind of disabled. If this isn't a nice way to put it, but like there's a grown up in a wheelchair. There's a kid in a wheelchair who's like got like one of those, you know, where they can't probably move. They might be autistic, or it might be another developmental disorder where they can't actually properly move and things. There's also a Down syndrome kid. It's like there's a whole family of them, and I think how unlucky can you be to have like a whole family? I mean, there's a few of them that just like look normal, but like. There's an increased amount, and I think that if we looked at it from the wealth standpoint, if you like, not necessarily money or income, but wealth, we'd probably find that the wealthier people are less likely, percentage-wise, just likelihood to have a
disabled kid.
Or have disabilities and such in their family. I think the same might be true for things like mental illness or mental. Difficult learning difficulties, like all sorts of things that you could put umbrella under disabled. Just because wealthier people have wealthier, and I'm not talking about rich. There's an important distinction. Wealthier people have less stress. They have more money. They can pay for the physicians for things. They can They can pay for the better food. They can pay for the better provisions,
which will minimise the chances of giving birth to. Person with defects.
If you're stressed while you're conceiving, specifically the male, they've shown if the man is stressed while conceiving a child, that child is more likely to develop mental illness later on.
And another thing to bring it back to addiction is that addiction is very
100%.
I've got to bring it back. You know, if a mother is addicted to, I don't know, let's say meth, most likely these addictions happen in
when the mother has it,
Yeah.
the baby's gonna.
Yeah.
And that's awful. Like you're born like that.
Yeah, but where do rich people, like wealthier people, addicted to drugs, and are there as many wealthy people that are addicted to drugs as there are people who are down at the bottom, addicted to heroin, addicted to...
If you're talking percentage-wise, it might be equal.
Do you think?
But because there's less rich people, so percentage-wise...
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
But also, if we're talking about rich or wealthy, again, the difference.
Yeah.
So, rich people are probably more likely to be addicted
Depends,
to a
like, if they're
substance
drug dealers,
than a wealthy person.
Yeah.
Who's someone who's wealthy, it's basically, how long can you live if you don't go to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't go to work tomorrow, ever, how long can you live?
Okay.
In your current lifestyle, usually, because you kind of want
to. Yeah.
And wealthy people, they already have passive income usually, so they're like
generations.
They laugh in your face and they'll be pretty fine in a couple of generations. So.
Yeah,
my kids might need to work, maybe.
Who cares about them?
I'd prefer them to be honest.
Yeah.
Get out of the house a bit.
Yeah.
Whereas a rich person is like, they usually have more assets and more liabilities. Sorry.
Yeah.
So. And for example, a drug addiction is a liability. That is something that is costing them money.
Yeah. And I think that's something that as well kind of affects, people that smoke cigarettes. The child usually ends up smaller than a person that doesn't. Because
first it suppresses appetite for starters.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to eat.
True. Yeah.
The baby needs food.
Things like that. I don't need milk. Whatever they have.
What is milk?
Yeah.
Really, is it important to me?
Just give me some of that, that puff,
Slowly inhale.
You're like 3 years old with a smoker's cough.
We shouldn't be laughing about.
No, but shit. That's the thing. Like we don't. And they're most likely to have asthma and all sorts of health problems.
Complete sense.
Yeah. So, yeah, man. I think with wealthy people, they don't have as many problems like that. Because why do people take drugs in the first place? Like,
Try and ignore something else.
Yeah, because they've got other problems, and I mean, they say more money, more problems, but
bigger problems.
Okay.
I think. I mean, I've not got more money. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
But again, it depends.
Yeah.
I've got an argument on. I'm focusing on wealthy and rich. So
yeah.
Rich, sure, more problems. Wealthy, well, my own personal definition of it is that they don't necessarily have more problems. They sort of work on fixing things.
Like you're talking about, like the Queen.
I'm talking like Bill Gates, the Queen.
Yeah.
People who literally have things working for them. They have systems working for them. So. Yeah, I think Bill Gates is a really good example. He's got a whole bloody charity going to try and fight malaria. Because he's like, well, I've done my contribution. I'm not gonna be going bankrupt anytime soon. So why not work on something else that will help the world? That's usually what these kinds of people tend to do.
Which is nice. However, like, I think with poor people, the reason why they take drugs is to escape.
Yeah, they've got problems.
Yeah, I mean, when you're rich or wealthy, you can use other. You open doors to other kind of avenues, other ways to relieve stress.
You've got anything you want in terms of so.
One of the what's that fancy sport called?
Golf.
It's not as fancy anymore, is it? What's the one with the kind of like the hammer? Crochet, yeah. I think that's what it is.
No, wait, isn't that crochet stitching,
or
is it croquet, or I don't know. One of them is like sewing.
Yeah, that's what I was trying not to make that mistake. But
no one's gonna listen to this.
Just rambling.
Did he just get those confused?
This is the thing, like. I think they have they have a lot more other ways to kind of deal with it. They have access to therapists, psychologists. They've got.
Oh yeah, they can afford them.
Yeah.
If they need them. Yeah.
Man, imagine, and you just don't. I guess when you're poor, or you're from a really, just the environment you're in.
It's the Matthew principle we had from last week.
Yeah.
Like, to those who have everything, more will be given. That's the wealthy.
Yeah.
To those who have nothing, everything will be taken. That's the poor people that we're talking about.
Yeah.
The ones who are more likely, in my opinion, I reckon if we got a study out, we might find it.
Yeah.
But then again, there might be a study saying the opposite. But they got more, like, crap.
It's taken away from them, yeah.
Everything's taken away. It's like, I'm poor, now I'm poorer, now I'm poorest.
Yeah.
So, it's a nice little funnel there.
Oh, great. Just gets worse and worse. Like, and I think the reason, well, let's look at the reasons for that, because when you're poor, right, it's harder to get more, it's harder to work your way up.
It's hard to get out of that.
Yeah, it's hard. Like, so what's most likely going to be the outcome is that you're going to either stay where you are whilst the rich get richer, meaning your status starts to drop even more, right? So that's the way I see it.
Okay.
But and I think you just, yeah, man. I think that's why. Like,
I will point out that throughout all capitalist countries, or countries that are mostly capitalism, while the rich gets richer, the poor also gets richer, and that they get rich at roughly the same rate.
Okay.
So the rich people, the rich capitalists, actually improve the life of the poor, and that's 100% true here. It's 100% true in America.
Right.
And there is it's a much bigger divide in America between, say, rich and poor, but that they still help each other.
So right.
So this is why I don't hate rich people.
Yeah.
I'm just I want to learn from you.
Yeah. I don't hate them. I just think that they have a lot.
They have a lot. Yeah.
They've pretty much. If you're born into a rich family, you're sorted. Who's able to kind of like.
I mean, you're sorted in you're lucky. You're super lucky.
Yeah.
But a lot of those kids don't know how to work, so they die poor.
Right.
They die bankrupt. But if they're born into like Donald Trump's kids, they might just end up giving it all away, never knowing how to work, not knowing how to make money for themselves.
Fair enough, yeah.
Donald Trump was born into
he had a
rich.
dad that allowed him, yeah.
He's like, oh, I got a small loan. I'm always hearing about that, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And I'm told he went bankrupt. I don't know if it was him or his business. There's a difference there, and it can be quite important.
Yeah.
So I've not looked into it. But again, if it was him that went bankrupt, which is what I'm told, then that's probably because he was born into that money again, and it wasn't that he had to make the money necessarily. So it's
fair enough.
There's all little nuances that I like to look into.
Yeah, I think that.
But it does make, despite the fact that the rich and the poor get rich together, it's probably in proportion. So it's not like the rich gets 50 quid more, the poor gets 50 quid more. It's like the rich gets 1% richer and the poor gets 1% richer. I'd imagine it's more like that. And 1% to a rich person is a lot more money.
Yeah, definitely.
Than 1% to a poor person. But 1% to a rich person is just as much to that person than 1% to a poor person.
Right.
Like 20% of your income is 20% no matter where you go.
So it's just kind of like. But see, with that, it's like. We're talking about like minimum wage would increase by 1%, potentially.
I mean, it always increases by more than that, for sure. Well, no, it doesn't. Not always, sorry. No, you know what I mean. Does it
Not, yeah.
I'm just trying to think what.
Like, it's like. Even. I see where you mean about those who are at the top, and but with me, I look. I don't know why, but I think this is from my sociology lessons. But yeah, I do look more at like the people at the bottom, and the issues.
There's more of them to look at.
Yeah, man. Like, because there are a lot of issues that keep people at the bottom there, and when you're born into a wealthy family, you can afford a better education. This is what I mean by you're sorted. Like, if you're born into a wealthy family and you don't take advantage of that shit, maybe
you suck.
Maybe you're part of the morons that have just kind of filtered their way into.
The kinds that the eugenics wanted to get rid of. Eugenicists.
The bastard child of the 1800s. That just kind of like.
It's like, why are you here?
Yeah. Like, this is the thing, like, going back to that as well, like, what they did back then was they told people in America, Sweden, Germany, is they told people they were going in for, like, an appendix removal, but what actually happened was they took their reproductive organs out instead. And they wouldn't know.
That's kind of different. That's a little souther than they were expecting.
But they didn't know, because, like, that would still be there, but it would just be like the womb would be removed.
Okay. Yeah.
And they'd walk out like, oh, nice, my appendix has been removed. You know, they still wouldn't know.
I hope they also took the appendix.
I don't.
I'm not like that could become an issue. I mean, mine tried to kill me when I was 4. So I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna tell someone you're taking the appendix, I don't care what else you. I kind of care what else you take. But aside from the moral issues, there, take the appendix.
take it anyway. But no, I think they just use that as a kind of like excuse, or this is what we're gonna do. This is why we're doing it, because it was right for them.
That's not okay.
That really like messed me. I was like, damn,
you're crossing the line there.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say no to voluntary.
Oh yeah.
Like, I think that should be a thing.
And it's still called sterilisation for a reason, Like,
oh, I get it.
Yeah.
It didn't occur to me. I don't know if I called it that. Probably did.
Yeah.
It just occurred to me what the meaning of the word is, like the
cleaning out the human population is what it was initially used for. And
I'm trying to think about wording it in the nicest way possible, but I still I know
it's still called that.
It can't be implemented in a way that people will like, especially in today's climate, if you like.
No, absolutely not.
But in my own head, I'm like, it just makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to kill off people.
Yeah.
Like, which is the first Mike when I discussed it with him. He was like, we should get him on the show sometime.
Yeah, definitely we will.
He was like, I can't agree with killing people, Alex. I'm like, no, I'm not talking about like baby slaughter. No, no, none of that. I'm just saying, I'm talking about like a voluntary sterilisation.
But this is what they were saying. Like, in the UK, that's how they dealt with it. The way you're saying it's like, right, so basically this, you're not likely to produce a child that's smart, so you want to maybe sterilise, and then they'd be given a leaflet or whatever. About
they were given a nice little leaflet. Eugenics. There were happy people who didn't have children.
and they would say yes or no, and most of them said no.
Yeah.
No.
See, it wasn't necessarily for me. It doesn't have to be done with you. That's not where I started. I started with people who are likely to produce people who have severe disability, who are less likely to benefit society. Not that they aren't likely to benefit society. My issue is when they become a complete drag onto society. How do I word it nicely?
Well,
for people that who that throughout their entire life, the government's going to have to pay for them, which means that the people have to pay for them. Which means I can't understand why the people who are paying taxes would actually like that individual. Like, imagine you go around your life, you just living your life, you don't know, you didn't do nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You just got something wrong with you. That means that you can't support yourself properly. You need extra help throughout your whole life, and you didn't do anything wrong. And I like to point that out. Like, I don't sit here thinking those evil bastards.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world, the rest of the societies, so they're like, well, I'm paying for your life.
Yeah.
Like, why? And like, you can understand why there might be some bitterness from the worker, from the average taxpayer, just the average Joe.
Yeah.
And I can see a cycle going, and then people are like, oh, people have got problems with disabled people. I'm like, well, maybe we can understand everyone's feelings in this. Yeah. Like, everyone, like, they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
But these people are paying for them.
I think.
So.
Yeah, I mean.
What do we do? Because I mean, it's not fair for anyone.
No. I mean, this is how our kind of we've shifted. Like, I think as a species from tribal to I want to do shit for myself, and I want to take care of my family, the people that are mine. But back then it was like, we're going to take care of the whole tribe, and I think that's kind of it. To kind of get rid of them is would that be realistic? Because how...
You can't completely get rid of it.
Yeah, like there'd always be another one that sprouts, and just like there's a reason why they're here, right? If one keeps coming up.
Is it to teach us compassion?
Perhaps we need, and if there's a God, maybe that's he makes these people just because.
It's like, you're gonna teach some fuckers how to live.
Yeah, you need to give charity, and maybe that's our charity without knowing it. You know, maybe it's, and that's kind of like a religious way of seeing it. But the way, like, another way of seeing it, like, it is like compassion. It's like, don't just take care of people that you're related to, but, you know, have a bit more kind of...
When you talked about the tribe, to me, the tribal mentality is the family.
Yeah.
The family is the tribe.
Right.
And it's like, we only look after our tribe, our family, and everyone else can fuck off.
Yeah.
And I'll kill them. That's basically...
Yeah.
Maybe scratch that last bit, but that was basically it. Like, I don't care about anyone else except my tribe. And like we say, we've moved on from that tribal mentality. I'd argue maybe we haven't. Maybe that's the issue.
Right.
It was still there with that tribe. It's like, my family and everyone else don't care.
Yeah.
And that, but what we've got a society that says you should care about everyone in your country.
Right.
So we have this taxation system, which whether or not you agree with it, this is what it does, and it makes sure that people who need it are looked after in theory.
Yeah.
And but if people have a tribal mentality, then they're like, why should I?
I think, but this is the thing with tribes, right? What they do, I mean, I don't know about every single tribe, but like, from what I've read in Sapiens, right,
Okay.
they would...
Oh, is it a good book?
It is, it's pretty good, yeah. So basically, they'd come together, if there was a force that was attacking them, I mean, usually they'd be against each other, right? But if there was a force against the kind of community, the wider tribe, I don't know how to call it, but they'd all come together, all tribes would come together and fight against that force, right? Maybe this force that we're fighting against is disability, you know? And maybe the how we deal with it is by, you know, because it can happen to anybody, from anybody's tribe, right? And if we all come together as a country and pay our taxes to help for the greater good, help towards research maybe, to get rid of this disability, or help towards education that is to actually make these people flipping out, sounds bad, but help to make disabled people beneficial to society in a way that they can, you know, work towards it, you know.
Okay. There is one thing that I would talk about, like, or ask you about. I saw a guy on the news, he's got Down syndrome, and the news described him as living as independently as he could, so he's got his own, like, flat and everything, obviously, like, government funded. Yeah. And he needs 24-hour round-the-clock care.
Right.
So is he living independently?
No, I mean, by definition, no.
So, but this is like where I was thinking, I was like, they're trying to make it so that this guy can have freedoms and all this, but he can't. He needs care. He needs people who can help him. Yeah. He's like 20-something now. He might be my age. Yeah. But he needs help. So, and it doesn't look like the most cost-effective way is to have him in a flat on his own, and then have two people come, or X amount of people look after him throughout the day. Yeah. It looks to me like people with similar issues or similar problems who need that kind of care, they might be better off housed sort of together. Yeah. But so that we can like swap people around and do it in a more cost-effective manner. I was just sort of, I don't want to hate on people. Like, I don't want to be like the guy who's like, fuck you.
This is it. Like, it's hard.
It needs to be effective.
Yeah, it's hard to be effective when there's so many kind of, especially in today's society, there's just so many like political correctness, right? Yeah. Everybody deserves a right to an individual lifestyle, and everybody deserves a right to be themselves, no matter what disability they have or whatnot. And we're not saying like, you're not saying that they don't deserve that. You're just saying that give them that life, but make sure it. Also, we're not all paying for it in a sense where it could be a bit more, cost effective. Like,
I just it should be a balance between, there shouldn't be a large percentage of the rest of the country living a worse life than an individual who's born with some form of disability. And I feel like that might be, if we take, actually, this is only true if I take away this disability, that the rest of his life is relatively catered for and relatively comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's sort of, but I also understand that it's got this extra difficulty that means everything else isn't as comfortable as I would observe it to be.
Yeah.
So it's not black and white, which is my issue with trying to
this is it, like
why isn't it cut and dry?
How do we develop a kind of system that allows a person to live a normal life who isn't, I don't know, they're disabled, that's by definition, they're not able to, but can they be if we kind of change certain things?
So like someone who's like a wheelchair user, so many people will argue that they can't work. And I just think, well no, you just can't work a physical job.
Yeah.
There's like a bazillion other jobs you could do.
Yeah.
Like you could do a lot of thinking. You do a hell of a lot of thinking when you can't move.
Exactly, that's true, yeah. Yeah.
You do a lot of it.
It's like picking their strengths and trying to like, which kind of sounds like what they were doing back then in the 1800s, where they were kind of picking the strengths of the moron and the idiot and the imbecile. Not to say that they are in this category.
But you're using examples.
Yeah. So it's like I see what they were trying to do back then, but
they were doing it wrong.
Yeah.
By today's standards, they were doing it wrong.
Exactly.
Would you say they were doing it wrong by then standards?
Yeah, because I feel like if they had understood intelligence a little better, then they wouldn't have thought of people. They wouldn't have thought of people not being able to learn and develop their intelligence. They just thought, all they can do is pass me that bin over there, or all they can do is climb that ladder. They can't think like me. They can't give orders or anything like that because they just don't have the brain capacity to do that.
So they saw it like computer levels, like this is a crap computer.
Yeah.
It can't run. You can't even run like
Paint.
Photoshop.
Yeah.
Paint's not gone now.
No, man, it's so sad.
Childhood gone.
I know.
This PC is a beast.
Yeah.
So they saw it like that, and the thing about like parts just depreciate, just get worse.
Mm-hmm.
But people are always growing.
Yeah.
It all can always grow.
That's it, and I think we should definitely see that in.
Would you say there's still an upper limit? You can't indefinitely improve?
I'd say that there was, because I think that's why I actually don't know, to be honest. Can you continue to learn?
Well,
unless you got Alzheimer's or something like that.
So is Alzheimer's the upper limit?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Death. That's your upper limit.
Because then your brain just starts to eat itself up.
Completely buggering you. Yeah. Like, bye guys. Don't know who you are, but
go on.
bye.
Peace out. Yeah, that's.
No, where I am, not where you are. Oh, there was this one tactic that I heard about this mother and this daughter writing on a whiteboard.
Yeah.
So that was opposite her mother, who had Alzheimer's, so that she wouldn't keep calling people because she was worried about like owing people money or didn't remember this or that.
Yeah.
It was like a bunch of things like you don't owe anyone money, you don't this, like I did this for you, don't worry, the cat's fed. You know, all of these things, so like the general things that she would usually worry about, so that she would be calmer and like okay, someone is telling me that I don't know who, but or at least
that's it. That's another thing as well. That's another thought. Is what about old people with diseases like that are. We don't know that they will develop them until they get to that age, but how are we supposed to...
There is a good way to prevent that.
Yeah.
Low sugar diet.
Really?
Yes. Like, we've found there's been a link, I'm sure there's a few studies, there's a link between just excessive sugar consumption, carbohydrate consumption, or just excessive calorie consumption, and Alzheimer's. So basically I'm doomed.
Oh shit, same.
This is one of the reasons actually I want to get off my tea, and I try and eat less sugar because it helps the brain altogether.
Yeah, I mean, but
I mean, it's not a cure-all.
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
know, but it definitely.
Does it kind of slow it down?
I think.
Yeah, it probably does, right? Because, yeah, I guess it's like with.
We'll end soon.
Right, that's the timer. But
and that's all the time we have for today.
Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
It's like, what was I gonna say? It's like with schizophrenia, where you don't really know what's gonna happen until it happens, you know. And there are people that say, oh, maybe you shouldn't smoke weed, you know, if you're schizophrenic, or if you have a relative with schizophrenia, because it can slow it down. It can speed up the psychosis. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe it's the same with sugar.
Constantly altering your state of mind.
Yeah.
So it's like
yeah.
For those listening, my hands are just going up and down.
Like a zigzag.
Yeah. Like a wave.
Yeah. It's like I'm not in objective reality. Now I am. I'm not in it. Now I am. And then when you got schizophrenia, I'm not.
Am I?
Yeah. Is this real? Am I me? Or these thoughts
mine? Are they me?
Yeah. So yeah, that was supposed to be about addiction.
It wasn't. We went deeply into eugenics, society issues.
Yeah.
Disability.
Yeah, that one's a bit controversial.
Not popular.
Hey.
If you'd like to send me death threats, please send them to www.
Yeah, we're not against disabled people. We're not. No. It's just a discussion. It's a difficult one.
Pragmatic discussion about society as a whole, as opposed to individuals.
Yeah, and it is a difficult conversation to have. No one wants to have it.
Exactly. That's why I love having it.
Yeah. So yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Check us out next week, hopefully.
Yeah.
If you don't hate us by then.
Yeah. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend, and we'll see you in the next one. Except we won't. Bye.
Bye.